What's going on, everybody? Good late morning. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are doing better than me. Still sick, obviously, but we got more offensive coordinator candidates to take a look at here today. And this next guy is a pretty big name in the NFL right now. This guy is viewed by some as the next Sean McVay. Everything this guy touches seems to produce good results. And at some point, somebody is going to give this guy a head coaching job when he's still in his early 30s. And it's going to seem really weird. And it's going to be very bold and unconventional. Like, don't get me wrong, but it just seems like that's the way things are headed with Grant Udinski, who is currently 30. He actually just turned 30 last month. And yeah, like I said, pretty much everything he touches turns to gold, and maybe it's time for him to get some play calling duties in the NFL. So let's talk about him a little bit. All right, guys, before we go any further into the video, I want to take a minute to tell you guys about my friends over at Sleeper. Sleeper is a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. Download the app to your phone. You can celebrate and chat about sports in real time with other users. You can get scores, news, and alerts with blazing fast speed. And you can play in daily fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. So enjoy sports together. Download Sleeper today, and don't forget to use my promo code SBN for up to $100 match on your first deposit. Plus, they currently have a free $20 entry, no deposit required, just make an account. Terms and conditions do apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and growing. So check out Sleeper and have fun with sports this year. All right, now Udinski is 30, like I said, which makes him the same age as Connor Senger, who I talked about yesterday. The difference is, I think Udinski's experience is a little bit more robust and also better, like a lot better. So if you take a look at his career so far, most recently, he did have the offensive coordinator job with the Jacksonville Jaguars, but that means he's under Liam Cohen. Liam Cohen calls plays in Jacksonville, so no, he is not a play caller, which is part of the reason why he might leave Jacksonville to go to Seattle if you wanted to hire him. So Grant Udinski, OC for an offense that was good in 2025. They were sixth in points per game, only 12th in EPA. That's a little bit concerning, but it is definitely going to be one of those things where you take a look at what he did with a quarterback a lot of people were worrying was broken in Trevor Lawrence, and really helped make things hum with a team that people didn't necessarily expect to be great in 2025. Now, the year before that, and this is one of the reasons why Udinski is going to be appealing to some people, this is another guy who has a connection to Sam Darnold. 2024, actually for 3 years there, but 2024 is the year we really care about. He was the assistant offensive coordinator under Wes Phillips and assistant quarterback coach under Josh McCown for the Minnesota Vikings, which means not only did he have a hand in that offense that had a pretty good season that year, he also had a hand in Sam Darnold's breakout year. So the Vikings in 2024, we know they averaged 25 and a half points per game, ninth in the league. Their EPA was kind of average, 0.038, not great, but still not necessarily anything that's alarming on its own. And Darnold had a great season, 4,300 yards, 35 touchdowns, ran for over 200 yards, 102.5 rating, and now he's here. So maybe there is some appeal to bringing him in just because of that connection. And if you can't get or don't want to get for some reason Wes Phillips or Josh McCown, maybe Udinski is kind of like the thing that can bring it all together enough for you to want that guy in your building as your offensive coordinator and play caller. The year before that, he was the assistant quarterback coach again for the Vikings and also the chief of special projects. I don't really know what that means. I don't know what the special projects could have been, but you take a look at the quarterbacks that Minnesota had that year, they had to go through 4 different ones because of injuries. Kirk Cousins was playing amazing football, then he tore I think it was his Achilles. 2,300 yards, 18 touchdowns, 5 picks, almost 70% completion, almost 104 QB rating. So Kirk Cousins was off to the races, and then he went down. Very tragic. May have had the best season of his career if he stayed upright. So without Cousins, they had to go through Nick Mullins, who was mediocre, the Josh Dobbs, who was pretty bad, and Jaron Hall, who was, I believe, a rookie this year, and he didn't really do too much. Not that he played that much, but yeah, not great options to work with at that point after Kirk Cousins goes down. And then the year before that, in 2022, he was also on the Viking staff, special projects and assistant to the head coach. Again, I don't really know what that means he did. That's a little bit difficult to decipher. But the Vikings in 2022 were an excellent team. They won 13 games in the regular season. They scored 25 points a game, eighth in the league. They had a mediocre EPA, which, again, tells you that maybe the points per game are a little bit of an aberration. But it was a very good team. And they did end up going one and done in the playoffs after winning 13 games. But it was a good start to his career, I think. So that's his Viking stuff. And the only thing we have other than that, and I know this is relatively thin, but he's really young, so you would expect it to be thin. He was the coaching assistant for the Carolina Panthers in 2020 and 2021. There isn't a ton to say here. The Carolina Panthers, both years, were pretty bad. 5-12, 5-11, so two pretty bad Panthers teams. In 2021, they had one of the worst offenses in football, 29th in points, 30th in EPA. 2020, they were bad but not terrible offensively. They at least had a positive EPA, but it obviously wasn't a very good team. And that's it. I think he was with the Baylor Bears in some capacity in 2019. But clearly, this is a guy who has a pull to him. He keeps landing in favorable situations ever since he left Carolina, and he keeps touching things that seem to go pretty darn well, right? Like that Vikings stuff, that 3 years he spent with the Minnesota Vikings, for the most part, things went well. The only thing that really went wrong during those 3 years, big picture, was Kirk Cousins tearing his Achilles. And, I mean, the Sam Darnold comeback year weighs heavily. And then in Jacksonville, he was part of a really good offense under Liam Cohen. And I know Liam Cohen does a lot of the heavy lifting here, but you're talking about a guy who has worked under Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota and Liam Cohen in Jacksonville. That's a lot of knowledge. Now, does that mean he'll be a good play caller? Who knows? Does that mean he'll be a good play caller immediately? Who knows? But you do have a pretty strong foundation for success here. And this does strike me as a appealing option for a team that is looking for somebody who is going to be able to maintain the success they had in 2025. I think the biggest concern you might have would just be the fact that he's a McVay guy, because he never coached under Shanahan. And the last time we tried a McVay guy was Waldron. And while I'm going to say it again, I didn't hate Waldron the way a lot of people do. It didn't work. He was here 3 years. We never won a playoff game, and then he was gone. But Udinski, there's a lot to like here. Again, if he's good for you, it's probably a one and done, but hey, that's a problem for future Seahawks. The current Seahawks maybe could want him. All right, let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys later. Go Hawks. More stuff coming soon. Let me know what you think about Udinski. He's very interesting. This is not my favorite, but it's pretty high up the list given the fact that we don't have a lot of great options left. All right, go Hawks. See you guys later.